Hello and welcome. Today is the 17th of April and it is noon on the East Coast. And let me just make sure I am where I think I am. Okay, excellent. If I do that, I can see comments. Okay, so let me know if you're tuning in live or if you're watching the replay. Any questions you have, please feel free to reach out to me and I will hopefully be able to solve them. My name is Betty Sakocia. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I live in Massachusetts in the United States. I have hardly ever been on live recently. My schedule is all over the place, so I apologize for that. But I am here live today to show you, I just kind of wanted to feature some of the outgoing, or one of the outgoing stamp sets that I love, and a project that I did recently with the club that I think you will enjoy. I hope you will enjoy. Okay, before I get started, yeah, well, actually, let me flip you down so you can see what I'm talking about. And we will... yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so this is my desk. There's my info, should you need it. Betty Sakocia at bettyboop.stampinup.net. By the way, I just heard recently that Betty Boop is coming to Broadway. Go figure. I'm going to go see it. Okay, a couple things I wanted to go over with you before we get started on the project. And that is the new annual catalog. So I'm not allowed to open it in front of you. I can open it for myself, but I can't open it in front until it goes live. And it goes live on May 6th. So 2 weeks from this past Tuesday, right? So just a couple weeks left. So I've had catalogs mailed out to customers of mine that have placed an order in the past 6 months. So if that is you, it should be arriving any day now. And I ask you, please let me know when it comes so I know that you got it and that it's in your hands and that you're happily able to look at it. If you are a new customer to me or you haven't placed an order in 6 months but are interested in getting a catalog, please reach out to me and I will make sure that you get that. Now, this is how my month has been going. I actually haven't even changed. These were the tags that on the flight on the way home from our convention that went in there from the napkins that I got on the flight. They need to be updated with tags for sure, but that's the way that my month's going. So it is what it is. Anyhow, let me know if this is coming, if this has arrived in your mailbox yet, or if you would like it to arrive in your mailbox, and I will see to it that happens. In the meantime, if you're an online type of shopper, this will be live. You'll be able to see the whole catalog starting on May the 6th, which is a couple weeks from now. And I will be doing some kind of introduction to the goodies that I love online as well. Probably not in person because, well, this sums it up, right? So probably not in person, but it definitely... I'll take care of you and get you through looking at the kind of the highlights of what I love in the catalog. Hey, Beverly, welcome. Okay, so that's that. The other thing is that our current catalogs are going away. Let me I've got two here to show you. This catalog has been around for a year and has a lot of products that are going away soon. And this catalog's been around for a few months and also has a lot of things that are going away soon. So Stampin' Up! Is doing it in an interesting way where some things will continue online and some things will continue until they go away, kind of like a clearance rack in your favorite store. So in any case, if there's things that you want that are going away, I'd get my hands on them as soon as possible so that they don't sell out. Hey, Francine. So just a heads up how to do that. If you go to bettyboop.stampinup.net, you will need to make sure that you have an online account with me. And then there'll be a button that says opt in for rewards. Now, it's happy news, but maybe a little bit nobody wants to opt into anything today, and I sort of get that. But in this case, you definitely want to opt in, because starting yesterday, everybody's going to get free money as soon as you hit a $20 order. So if your order is $20 or more, you will start to earn 10% that you will be able to use on a future order. So think of like your favorite, think of my favorite, think of Starbucks. Every time you buy there, you're starting to accumulate things. Well, with Stampin' Up, you're starting to accumulate as soon as you hit a $20 order. So then you will have rewards in your cart, and you can use them on future orders. You can save them up and get something big, or you can use them every time you order. But you definitely want to opt in for that, because if you don't opt in, you don't get the free points. And there's no downside to it, I promise you. So that's how you'll go about doing that. If you do have any questions, just leave me a comment or send me a message, and I absolutely will walk you through it. Okay, so what I wanted to go through today is with this beauty of a stamp set here. So Everyday Details has been around for a couple of years. I really like it because it's got, well, I really like the sayings that go with it. But I feel like you can't go wrong with flowers, and I love me a bird's nest. Teacup is a bonus, but these two were my real favorites in this stamp set. So I'm going to use the bird's nest today. And this is a project that I did recently with a club of mine. If you're interested in joining a club, the rules for the club are going to be the rules. It sounds like you're committing to a lot. But the way a club works is that you promise to pay a certain amount, and you get a couple of free projects every month in doing so. So more to come on that, but if that sounds like something you're interested in, certainly, again, leave me a message so I make sure that you get the details on that. Okay. I feel like I'm all over the place. I haven't been on here in a while. So let me talk to you about what I'm using for supplies here. This is the Everyday Happiness DSP, and you can see the code there is 166632. This paper, if it does not look familiar to you, it's because it's in an online exclusive. So that's another way that you can find some new Stampin' Up! Products that come out regularly. And currently, this is in that little selection. So if you're interested, go to bettyboop.stampinup.net, look up online exclusives, and a number of things will come up. But this certainly is one of them. So this package of paper, I am in love with. It kind of has a very textured look to it, so it looks like it's fabric, but it's not. It's paper. So this is one side of the paper, and then this is the other side of the paper. So whether you are a scrapbooker or a card maker, there's a lot to work with here. And in fact, at least there was, I'm not sure if it's still available, but there's also a specific scrapbooking kit available with this paper as well. So that's the paper that we'll be using today for this project. Hey, Laura and Tina. Nice to see you. Okay, so this is going to be kind of a fun fold card. Actually, let me show you the finished card. I'll show you where we're working towards, and then I'll show you how we're going to get there. Okay, so this is the finished card here, right? Looks like a basic card, but watch this little trick. So it starts as a horizontal card and turns itself into a vertical card magically. So I'm going to show you the little magic trick, how to do that, and some tips on coloring in things. All right. Let me pull in this set one more time, because I forgot to mention that Everyday Details was originally a $24 stamp set. This is on the last chance list. I mentioned that some things are going away. If they're going away, they are put on the last chance list, which means they'll be available until they're no longer available. How you'll know that is that it will just not show up anymore. But if you go onto my website and see anything that says last chance, it means it's a retiring product and that it is going away, but the actual date it goes away is when it sells out. Some of the things on the last chance list are on sale, and this is one of them. So you can get some real bargains on that last chance list. And you can actually filter by things that are on sale. You can look for things that are 50% off, 40% off, 30, 20, 10% off. I don't actually know the math of this, but this was $24 and is now $14.40. I have my note here, $14.40 for this stamp set, and I love, love, love it. So consider adding this to your shopping list. Okay, so let me pull in the actual making of this fancy mechanism. We're going to take care of first. So I'm going to bring in my paper cutter. And I am going to credit the person that I saw this fold from is Robin Ombrecht. And I believe I know she's in the Midwest somewhere. Maybe Indiana, Illinois. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe Ohio. I'm not sure where she's from, but she's really talented, and this is where I saw the idea from. So I credit her for that. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is cut your cardstock the long way. It's half a sheet of cardstock the long way, which means it's at 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And then I'm going to score it. Now okay, the truth of the matter is I always do things upside down with my cutter. I like my cutter. I like this to be on the bottom. So that's how I'm going to arrange it right now. And I'm going to move my stand a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Oops. I got my mouse pad under there, and that's not good. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is score this at 5.5 inches, which will be the halfway point. So I line this up with 5.5 inches. I want to move, my cutting blade is the dark blade. I'm going to move that out of the way so as not to cut. And then I'm going to bring in my scoring blade and just give this a nice score line there. Okay, here's the tricky part. You're going to go 1 1/4 from this score line. So I'm bringing in my, let me move that out of the way and bring this in. So I'm moving in I'm bringing in a, this I think is a quilter's ruler. But I'm bringing that in. I'm going to mark at 1 1/4 inches. Whoops, come on, pencil. Okay, I grabbed a pencil that doesn't have any, it doesn't have any, what do you call it, lead in it. But this is 1 1/4 where I just marked it there. Okay, get that out of the way. Bring back your cutting, your scoring, cutting, scoring and cutting, what do we call this? A cutter, paper cutter. Okay, so now, let me see if I can zoom in super tight here to show you. I'm taking this mark that should be with a pencil, but is not, and I'm putting that right along the cutting, the valley here, and then I'm moving the top of my paper. So let me unzoom. Come on, you, unzoom. Unzoom, there we go. I'm putting the top of my paper. So I've got my little mark, my little tick mark right there. And then the top of the paper is going to be right in the, right at that, in the valley, right? So it's the point of the paper is going to be right there in the valley. And this here as well. Okay, again, being careful not to cut this, but to score this. I'm going to go back and forth. Let's get the cutter out of the way. And now you can see this here. So this is going to fold this way, just like this, okay? This is how this card is going to open up. This is going to fold up like that. Okay, so first things first, let me grab my paper that I've chosen for this. Okay, I've decided, so this piece is 1 inch by 4 inches, and that's going to go right along here. This is just one of that's the piece that kind of just had the wash of the color on there. So I'm going to put that right in along the side. Hopefully I did not check any of my adhesive before I came live, so hopefully all this works. Okay, so I'm going to lie that right in there. And then I'm going to build the inside. Let's build the actual card. Let's make the actual card part, and because that's the fun part. All right, so I'm using StazOn ink. I haven't used this in quite a while with you. StazOn ink is a permanent ink, and I'm going to be using some water and some markers. And so StazOn is really the ink of preference when you're doing that. It smells delicious. It smells like Jergens almond, cherry almond. It'll take you right back to 1978 when you open this. There is a plastic cover that comes in this, and it's intended to stay with it, so do not toss it. I've attached mine with two dimensionals to make sure I don't lose it. But a StazOn ink pad is an alcohol ink pad, and it can dry very quickly, so that's why you want to keep that. Keep it right inside there. Okay, so I have cut my square previously with the Stylish Shapes dies, Stylish Shape dies. Let me just bring these in here while I make sure this all sticks. Has some banners, circles, and squares. It is going to remain to be available for quite a while, so, as far as I know, for quite a while. But it's a fantastic set of dies, so if you don't have it, consider ordering that as well. I didn't pull this out, but we do have a StazOn cleaner, and it works really, really well on the red rubber stamps. You definitely want to use a StazOn cleaner for this, because if you don't, it kind of adds like I don't even know what it is, like a layer of stickiness to your stamp that you don't want. So you're definitely going to want to use the StazOn cleaner, and I will do that as soon as my video is done. But it's just a heads up that you definitely want to use that. Okay, let's get this nest colored in. So I am going to use a soon to be gone color. This is Wild Wheat. This color has 2 weeks left of its life. So we're going to use that. And I'm going to, here, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use the nub end, which looks like that, and just color in some leaves here. Wild Wheat kind of has a greeny, yellowy, goldy color to it. And it actually, I find it, well, it is named after wheat, but I do find it to be really, really a very naturally kind of looking color. I think it kind of got a bad rap, as people thought it might look like, well, I don't want to tell you what they thought it would look like. If you don't think it looks like that, I don't want to give it a bad rap, so I'm just going to leave Wildlife alone. But, so I colored in the leaves with that. Then I'm pulling out some, woo, that's a interesting ink pad, right? This ink pad probably is 25 years old. This is an old ink pad. It's Crumb Cake. And I'm going to add just a little bit of water. I squished the top of it because I want to get a little bit of, I want this to be a loose color here. I squished the top of it, and I'm using a water painter. And I'm gently going to go in and just kind of fill in the nest. And again, this is nature, so it doesn't all have to be the same. It doesn't even have to be neat. Just kind of fill it in as you will. And I'm going to bring the color into some of the outside branches. Just a little bit there. Okay. Then I'm just cleaning my, you didn't see that, but I just cleaned that on my, I got a little chamois on the side there, and I'm cleaning off the color on there because now I want to do the actual eggs. So the egg color I'm choosing, and basically it is based on the fact that this paper here has some Lost Lagoon in it, and I think that makes a really pretty egg color. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm bringing in my water painter, aqua painter. Paintbrush would work fine. You just want something that's got a little bit of water to it. I don't want it too watery because this is actual, this paper here is the white paper, and it is not watercolor paper. So it's not going to handle a lot of water well. Okay, a little bit of water it can handle, a lot of water, you really should use watercolor paper. Every egg that I do, I'm just going to go in and kind of start again with the, with my ink here just because I want the eggs can all be an individual color, right? So some could be darker than others. And actually, they can all be their own color. Do whatever you'd like. Okay, so those are colored in. I'm going to just let that dry. You can see how they kind of got a little bit muddled because the paper, like I said, I'm using the basic white paper, which doesn't handle water terrific, but it kind of makes a cool look where it kind of looks like a naturally looking egg. I can see up here, though, this is kind of bugging me a little bit, that right around my eggs, it's a little bit too white. So I'm just going to go in and grab some more of that crumb cake. Thanks for waiting for me here. I want to make sure that that's got color there. Okay, perfect, done. Well, perfect, good enough is what I'll go with. Okay, so that is done. Let me move all of that out of the way. We're going to give this a second to dry. While it's drying, I'm going to stamp my words for the inside of the card. Now, I showed you previously what's going to happen with this card. It's going to start horizontal, and it's going to end up vertical. Here, let me unzoom you. Unzoom. Oh, come on. Work with me here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this paper is going to be a vertical message. So I'm going to use... I'm going to use a stamp that is from the set. The set has some nice greetings. You make every day a little brighter. Overjoyed for you in this new journey and wishing you so much joy on this special day. So I'm going to use that word there. You could use this, you know, for a spring birthday. Use it for any kind of happy day that someone is having. But I want to stamp my words first, in case they don't come out right before I glue them down. I am using my black StazOn. Okay, so they came out fine. If they didn't, I could just flip it over at this point. So that's why I like to stamp my words first. As I mentioned before, I will use my StazOn cleaner as soon as I'm done with the video. But I'm just going to wipe it off for the moment. Okay, so this is going to go inside. It came out fine, so I'm good. I know I can... right on top of my Lost Lagoon layer. And then I think I'm going to use dimensionals for this. It's optional. But whenever you think to yourself, should I use dimensionals? The answer is always yes. All right, so let me pull these backings off. And this is square, right? So far this is easy to put down. You don't have to think about anything at this point. It's when you attach it to this that you need to think which direction it's going. Okay, now, as I mentioned, the card is going to start horizontal and end up vertical. So just hold it down to make sure you know what direction it's going. I'm going to put my adhesive right in here, being very mindful that there is a little bit of a border that's going to go around this. So I want to be very careful not to get right up to the sides. If I do, I could end up with glue where I don't want it. Green glue works great for this because it gives you a little bit of leeway to move things around. But there's the border at the top and the border on the side. Look at that. Easy peasy. Now on the inside, because this looks a little goofy here now, I'm going to add one more piece of designer paper. I'm going to add this one here. The other side of it was this paper here. It just happened to be a very white piece from that piece there. But I'm going to add this here because I think it looks like little eggs, and I think it's a nice complement to this. So that's going to go on the inside just to zhuzh up the inside of my card a little bit. My green glue looks like it's maybe on its last leg, maybe time for a replacement. All right, so that's going to go there, that's going to go there. And to finish the card off, I'm going to use these beauties. These are called low profile dots, and they come in gold and kind of like a petal pink. Really, really pretty. And I think you can kind of appreciate there. It's hard to see, but they are low profile. I have mailed these and not had to use any additional postage. So hopefully the same will happen for you. But I love bling that does not require extra money. Who doesn't, right? Okay, so I'm just going to put down 3 of these, and I also left my pick tool across the room, so that's that. But that works. All right. So here is this Magic Fold card, courtesy of Robin Umbrek. I hope I'm not saying her name wrong. You can find her at reallyrobinstamps.com. But this is where I learned this fold from, and I really, really like it. So I encourage you to take a look at the Last Chance list. This product here, as I mentioned, Everyday Details, is on the Last Chance list. It is $10 off. It's only $14.40 right now. I would caution you, or not caution, but advise you to consider making sure your order is $20 or more moving forward, because that's where you're going to earn some free money to use next time. So if you spend $20, you will get a reward of $2 to use on your next order, or to save up for something. So as you flip through, you can look at all the things that are on the Last Chance list. That's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So I would take a look at those. Not everything on that list is on sale, but many things are. So take a look at what's on sale. See if you can stock up on a few things that you've had your eyes on, and get yourself some free money to use on your next order. All right. Thanks very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. You can find everything you saw here today, unless it's sold out by the time you get there, but hopefully not. You can find it at bettyboop.stampinup.net. Just remember to opt in for your rewards so that you are not missing out on any free money. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.